Mason had everything except money. He was the kind of guy everyone noticed. Tall, sharp jawline, intelligent eyes that always seemed 2 steps ahead. He wasn't just good looking. He was brilliant. Top of the class, charming, respectful. The kind of boy teachers adored and classmates secretly envied. But he came from nothing. His mother sold food by the roadside. His father long gone. However, Mason believed education was his ticket out. And when he got accepted into St. Clair University on a full scholarship, he thought his prayers had been answered. He never knew exactly who funded his scholarship. The letter only said it was from a private foundation that supported promising students from underprivileged backgrounds. Along with tuition, it came with a monthly allowance. For Mason, it was salvation. Then came Helena. She was in his class, quiet, reserved, and always neatly dressed but never flashy. Her dark hair was always tied, her clothes simple, and she never wore makeup. People barely noticed her at first glance. But when she smiled, there was something disarmingly gentle and radiant about her. Mason noticed. They became seatmates, study partners, then lovers. Helena supported him in small ways, packing him food, helping him review, listening to him talk about his dreams. She believed in him completely. Mason often teased her about being too simple. You'd look amazing if you dressed up. Sometimes, he once said, she just smiled. Why? You fell in love with me like this, didn't you? He laughed, kissed her forehead and said, yeah, I did. Back then, he meant it. Things began to change in their 3rd year. Mason's popularity grew. People looked up to him, admired him, and that's when Bianca, a transfer student, entered his life. She was the opposite of Helena, confident, glamorous, always wearing designer clothes and knowing exactly how to catch attention. She started flirting with him casually during group projects. You're too smart to be hanging out with boring people, she'd say, leaning closer than necessary. Mason would laugh it off, but inside he liked the attention. It made him feel like he belonged somewhere higher. Slowly, his dates with Helena became fewer. His texts became shorter. His excuses are longer. And then, one afternoon, Helena showed up at the campus library to surprise him with lunch. She spotted him in the back corner between 2 tall shelves. At first, she smiled, until she saw Bianca pressed against him. Their lips locked. The lunchbox fell from her hands, the sound echoing softly in the quiet room. Mason pulled away instantly. His face went pale. She looked at him, eyes steady, voice calm. Don't bother. You've already said enough. She turned and walked away. Mason didn't chase her. Maybe because deep down, part of him thought she'd forgive him eventually. She always did. But she didn't. For the first time, Mason felt uneasy. But pride wouldn't let him apologize. Then, one evening as he was leaving campus, Helena passed by the student lounge and heard his voice unmistakably loud, coming from behind a corner.
Yeah, bro.
Mason was saying over the phone.
I'll break up with her after graduation. She's too plain, man. Nice, but not my type. Once I have a good job, I can date someone who matches me. She's not on my level anymore.
Helena froze. Her heart didn't even race, it just went quiet. She turned away before he could see her, walked home, and told her parents one simple thing that night.
Don't renew one of the scholarships this year. I'll explain later.
A month later, the scholarship results came out. Mason, confident as ever, scrolled through the list. He frowned, then scrolled again, then again. His name wasn't there.
What? That's impossible.
He muttered. He went to the scholarship office, but all they said was,
Your sponsorship was discontinued. You may reapply or look for another program.
He tried to ask why, but the staff only smiled politely.
Confidential, sir.
Within weeks, his allowance stopped coming. His bills piled up. His landlord started knocking. He tried applying for part-time jobs, but balancing work and studies made his grades slip. And one morning, as he dragged himself to class half awake from an overnight shift, he saw Helena. But not the Helena he used to know. She wore a black mini dress, light makeup, her hair loose and shining. She was breathtaking, effortlessly elegant. People turned their heads as she passed. Mason froze.
Is that Helena?
Someone whispered nearby.
Yeah. Her family owns Velasquez Holdings, the one funding the top scholarships here.
The words hit him like thunder. Velasquez. The foundation name printed on every scholarship letter he'd ever received. That was her. Her family. Helena glanced at him as she passed. No anger, no sadness, just quiet indifference. The kind you give someone who no longer matters. Mason wanted to run after her, to explain, to beg. But what could he possibly say? That he cheated because he thought she was beneath him? That he'd planned to leave her once he made it? There was nothing left to say. By the next semester, Mason dropped out temporarily to work full-time. The dream he once held so tightly slipped away, just like the girl who had given him every chance to reach it. Years later, when people asked about his past, he never mentioned the scholarship or the girl. But sometimes, late at night, he'd remember that quiet library, the sound of a lunchbox falling, and the face of the woman who had loved him deeply enough to help him rise, until he destroyed it with pride. Because the truth was simple. He wasn't betrayed by fate. He was betrayed by his own arrogance. And when the mask finally fell off, he realized the beauty he'd overlooked was the only thing real he ever had.
If you like our story, please hit thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for listening. See you next time for another beautiful story.